And welcome to another edition of Luisa Leon, your favorite show on YouTube and Spotify. And if it ain't your favorite show, it should be.
That's right. That's
uh,
right.
and pardon me, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I have been out and about. This is what's the movie? Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, right? Um, so I've been traveling. While we're doing this recording, I've been traveling for the weekend. Let's call it what? Three, two states, three hotels, one rental car, and one flight.
Mm,
So nah,
mm.
but you got to celebrate your people, man. So um, and something else I was doing, like I came home to do some more stuff with Lorain County juvenile court system. So I'm gonna mention that in a little bit because it has something to do with another topic we're gonna bring up about mentorship and how we do stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
But before I go any further, man, how are you doing? What's going on? How's life
I'm
treating you?
okay. I'm just tired. It was a long
Hmm.
weekend.
Hmm.
Between doing, just regular stuff,
Hmm.
doing Jack
Hmm.
and Jill stuff. Shout out to Jack and Jill of America.
Right, right.
Doing things
Alums,
with my
alums.
church. That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, legacy, legacy. That's what
Yeah.
they call it, legacy. It is not alum, it is legacy. Um,
Nice, nice.
so doing that stuff, helping out with the super cluster in Atlanta with
Hmm.
which our chapter was hosting actually.
Okay.
That doing some church stuff, big festival in a neighboring like city. So just
Hmm.
burning up a lot of, excuse me, interstate miles today or
I
this
feel you.
weekend, and
Going
then trying to
back and
get ready,
forth, back and forth.
being out in the sun, baking, lifting. I got my steps in, all that stuff.
Nice,
So,
nice,
so I'm
nice.
sponsored right now by Magic and Red Bull. So there you go. The Sea
Hey,
Blue edition.
hey, couldn't have it any other way. Well, dude, I want to share something with you because this what I'm doing right now on our show is a first on any show I've ever done.
Okay, what's that?
I'm rocking the lid. I'm rocking the lid.
Oh, right.
I don't I
Yes,
don't
true.
really I don't really rock a hat or whatever on shows because I'm gonna bring up a story that only you know because you were with me
Oh,
when we did this, right?
oh Lord. I'm like, well, which time?
Yeah, no, this we gonna keep it PG, of course. But
Okay.
um,
All right.
remember, remember there was a time we was. By the way, went to. Uh, anyway, I'm not even gonna talk about Midway Mall, but back in the day, that's
Oh
where we used to hang
gosh.
out, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Shout out to
And
Midway Mall.
we used to, low ride, right? So low
Mm-hmm.
riding with the brim, could barely see.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we had come back from I don't know, finish line or something. We had done some shopping and we may bought new hats. I don't even remember what it was, right? And we're kind of walking over to where we was gonna catch the bus, and I walked under one of the road signs. I couldn't see it,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. Boom. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, I do remember that. Yeah, yeah, I remember
so
that
I
now.
smacked my head because I was low riding and couldn't see.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no, that's not the reason I don't rock a lid on the show, man. But I thought about that when I was like, oh yeah, let me raise up a little bit so I can see.
That's hilarious. Yeah, yeah. Oh my
So
God. Yeah, it was
yeah,
straight
right,
slapstick comedy.
it was because it was like dong. But
Yep.
keep it moving, man. Well, man, I always have something I want to talk about. Um, but so I want to put it in context first of all, right?
Mhm.
We both know like that representation matters, right? Representation in so many different forms. We got so many people like we are on platform here, um, promoting whatever, not necessarily promoting, but having a message, right? In
Mhm.
sharing your thoughts and your character, whatever that might be. And that's why I say that this representation matters. And actually what you say and what you do That matters. That matters, right? And I'm saying this from a context of a black man, first of all. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it hugely matters what we do. And especially if you're high profile, whether that's athlete, artist, um,
Mm-hmm.
the entertainer, the high profile. So here we go with Shannon Sharp is in the news because he's got a lawsuit against him from a young lady with forcing her to do certain things, and it's a $50 million civil lawsuit. All right. I am not playing judge or jury, nothing like that. I am whatever. The young lady was about 30 years younger than him too, right?
Yeah, he said he like him young, so
Just for context, right? Um, what I'm not sure people know. Well, let's start here. Um, he's high profile. He was a high profile athlete because he was exceptional at his position. Won some Super Bowl champion, believe Hall of Famer.
he
So
is Hall of Famer. Yeah.
right, so high profile, very high profile. Now he's moved into the broadcast world. When he was on FS1, got his own podcast, the Club Shay Shay, um, and now he's on ESPN. So very very high profile. Um, Unk, what you do matters, right? The image of authenticity matters. And so I share that because what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, I'm not judging him for what he does in his own time with whoever he does it with. But when you have a lawsuit and the lawsuit claims certain things, and then you try to settle that lawsuit, civil lawsuit, but you try to
Mm-hmm.
settle it for $10 million, a lot of times in the court of public opinion, that type of settlement outside of the court is looked at as some type of admission for responsibility. Um, it's not a because here's I guess what I'm saying is if you are categorically denying everything that this lady is saying in her lawsuit, cool, okay, then take it to the court of law. Let them decide that, right?
Right.
Because your legal fees, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but I read up on things and kind of do some homework. Apparently, the legal fees may not be more with this kind of case, more than like $500,000. So we're talking about 500,000. Okay, and let's say, cool, you want to reach a settlement so this doesn't go to court. Another 500,000. That's fine, right? $1 million. When you're talking about those kind of figures and high profile folks, that happens all the time. But when you raise that settlement number to 10 million, that kind of raises some questions, like where'd that figure come from if you're not saving yourself some embarrassment or something like that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Um, but so before I continue about why this matters so much to me and what it looks like in the court of public opinion, do you have any thoughts on this situation?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Hmm.
I've thought about it just a little bit more and processed it a little bit more.
Hmm.
And I don't necessarily think that I think, well, let me just start and just say it was just stupid. I mean, like Unk is out here making mistakes that young current professional athletes make, like get caught up in stuff like this. It's not
Hmm.
usually the uncle that gets caught up in stuff like that, right?
The uncle's going to
Um,
be giving you advice on how not to get
about
caught up.
about how not to, yes, yes, it's like you did not like attend the rookie seminar that the NFL gives all the rookies about ways to stay out of trouble, that sort of thing, right?
Right, right.
So I think that's first and foremost, right? You just
Yeah.
got to be more careful, as they say, right? I mean, you that was just really, really dumb. The
Yeah.
other part is I think that I mean the $10 million number is like, I mean, it is what it is, right? People pay
Sure. Sure.
money to get things to go away, right? We know that
Hmm.
that her number excuse me, is 50 million, right?
Correct. Correct.
So he is saying, okay, I bet you him and his attorney probably went back and forth and they said, all right, well, we offer her, you know, 20% of that, it'll probably go away. She'll probably take it and she'll go away, right? And people,
Right.
people,
This
I mean,
happens
and
all
I
the
don't,
time. This is
it
a
happens,
common
it
thing.
happens all the time. People pay to
Right.
just,
Right.
make things go away. Like me and my wife were talking about it. And she said, well, like, look at Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z paid that woman an undisclosed sum of money to make that thing go away. What was
It
going on with him, right?
the settlement just wasn't publicized. The
Exactly,
number wasn't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is the danger is that the woman didn't take the $10 million. She's like, nope. Because if she had taken the $10 million, there would have been an NDA and we'd have never heard anything about this, right? But they
Exactly.
offered the 10 million, she balked, and then he's just like, all right, I'm not paying you 50 million. So see you in court, lady.
Right.
That sort of thing.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
I guess for me, the court of public opinion thing to me is that you were stupid. You were just really, really stupid. Like you are a Hall of Famer and you made a rookie mistake. That's my thing about this. You were a Hall of Famer and you made a rookie mistake. That's my thought
100
on it.
100%, man. Like you nailed it. A rookie. Well, here's let's take this another level further. This ain't the
Mhm.
first rookie mistake you'd have made, bruh. Like, so. I got to put it out there. If you dig a little deeper into this young lady's case, what she said was she began to pull away after the accidental going live and having sex. Like when he did that, Unk,
Yeah.
when Shannon Sharp accidentally, come on. First of all, let's just be clear, right? Do either one of us think Shannon Sharp is a stupid guy?
No. No. Not at
Right.
all. I think he's a
So
very intelligent person.
you are well aware. Hold on. I got to get close to the camera for this one. You are well aware when you go live. You're well aware of
Right.
that, right?
Right.
So that wasn't really an accident, number one. Okay, but that went out there fine.
Mhm.
This young lady states that's when she started pulling away because that wasn't her, right? That he was on live with.
Right. There was
So
another one that he was right.
another, he likes him young.
Yeah, and
Okay,
that's your
okay.
business. That's your
That's
business.
right.
Even though
That's right.
Monique warned you, but
Yeah,
that's your
that's right.
business.
So there's two mistakes there. And apparently that's where this lawsuit begins for her. Okay. Let's take it. We don't like to deal with surface stuff here on Luis and Leon show, right?
Hmm.
So let's go little deeper. I don't know if people remember, excuse me, and this is when he was still with Fox Sports One, right? But
Yep.
he had some court of public opinion again, was beginning to question his sexuality. Now, don't care, right? Whatever whoever you choose to spend your intimate time with is who you choose to spend your intimate time with. Makes me no never mind, right? But he was seen courtside with his stylist. He started wearing, or had some outfits that were, you know, bending gender rules, whatever you want to call it.
They they go against traditional, unk wear. Let's just say that. Traditional unk wear.
Facts, right?
That's
And
that's the
so
best way I can put it.
there was beginning to be these questions about his, and I won't even call it his sexual preferences. It was questioning his masculinity, right? Let's just be real. And what Hall of Fame? NFL football player wants their masculinity questioned in that manner, right?
Hmm.
So if you really peel back the curtain and look deeper, are these rookie mistakes happening in order to change and distract from that public court of opinion about your sexuality and masculinity?
Could be. Could be.
You
Yeah.
know,
No,
and
I think that's a valid thing.
and if that's the case, bro, stop giving a shit what people think. Like, period. That's it.
Right. Right.
Like, do you on your platform? Because I think it's a great the club. Shay Shay he's doing the thing. I actually like him on the first take. If I ever watch it, which I rarely do, but like, do your thing. And so this leads me to my first point of representation, and that matters, right? On a personal note for me, I've been doing some work at home in Lorain County with the juvenile court system, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of they have a program called Crossroads, and a lot of the participants in there are black, and a lot of the participants in this program are black boys, young black kids, young black men. And I say, like, what do we know that entertainment and sports figures, artists, they are watched and imitated, right? Representation matters. So while they see a face that looks like them, what behavior are they seeing from that very face that they might look up to or aspire to
Right.
be like, right?
Right. Hmm. Hmm.
So now you're kind of saying that this behavior is okay because, oh, I can kind of make it go away if I have enough money, or if I want to put a lawsuit in, I can kind of make this go away. Now, I'm not saying that's what Unk is doing. I'm not saying that's what people are perceiving, but we're talking about young, impressionable minds with brains that ain't fully formed yet. You know what I mean? And representation matters in that
Yeah.
aspect, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I guess my thing is that, I mean, there's all kinds of, the world is just, it's bizarre world right now, right? It
Facts.
just is. And it has been for a long
For
time.
a
Certain
long
things
time.
exacerbated that more than others, to get us where we are in this moment, in this very
Yes.
moment.
Yes.
But I do think that in some ways he needed just to be mindful of his voice and his platform and be responsible and care about himself a little bit more, in terms of how, he handled like himself. Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
is not the only, former professional athlete, current professional athlete who's out there doing what he's doing. But
No,
I
not at
mean,
all. Not at all. Yeah.
there are ways that he should have protected himself, and I think it was just an ego thing. If it wasn't a slip, like you said, it was an ego. I mean, if it was not a orchestrated plan sort of thing, if it
Hmm.
wasn't that, then I mean, he just sloppy. Like, dude, you're just not handling your business. Like, you're just not. You're just so not. You
Right.
know.
Right.
Um,
And he also has adult children
I was
who
just gonna
who
say that you embarrassed your children. Mm-hmm.
right. So here we go again. Are you going to make an apology to your adult children like you did before? Like
Right.
you kind of nailed it. You said sloppy. Handle your. We're not saying don't do you, and there's plenty of other people doing similar things, but people see you, and again, that's why I bring up these young
Yeah.
impressionable minds, right? And even in this program that I'm working with, like, this is a last chance type program for them, right? If they don't take to the habit change and mindset shifts, right? And if they don't really start to internalize how to shift their decision making, they're going to be in jail. Like that's flat out. That's what's going to happen. So,
Hmm.
as whether you like it or not, um, you can use your platform to be a mentor and mentorship in what you do and how you act. It all matters. It matters. We have that's why I like the transformation that Will Smith is going through. Big mistake, right? Let's be real about that. That's a huge mistake, career threatening mistake.
Hmm.
But he's now come back and taken the time. He's not shying away from it. He's talking about it and talking about the growth that has come with it, you know?
Yeah, but I think in some ways, like Will made so many deposits, like in the bank of goodwill, that
Hmm.
Will's situation, I think, is a little bit different. I mean, it's not necessarily an apple to apples comparison. What he did,
True,
while
true.
What Shannon did was not public and seen around the world live, like the way that Will stuff was. Will made deposits in the bank before that that
Well
will
before
allow him
some
to,
grace. Yeah,
yes, some grace and him to get
yeah,
through it.
yeah.
Now, his other stuff with, Jada dragging him, that's a whole nother publicly, I'm mad at him about that more than I am about the slap, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, we'll have to address that another show because I'm with you on that one. Like,
Yeah.
bro, you knew what the show is about, and you went on there acting like you ain't. Yeah, another show, another show.
Right, right, right. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to have Will Smith on the Luis and Leon show. Maybe ask him about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what you doing? What you doing? I'll see
Mm-hmm.
if I can make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see if I can make that
Mm-hmm.
happen. Man, well, look, why don't we take a break here, right? And after
Mm-hmm.
we come back from the break, let's chop it up about some cinematic films that are out right now, and because
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
few that I'm excited for, and we'll have some sports talk when we come back. All right.
Okay.
So,
Sounds
all right,
good.
y'all, stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, y'all. Welcome back from the break. Um, yeah, if you didn't catch the first half, what we were talking about was Unk not doing Unk stuff and why that matters. You know what I mean? Um, bro, I'm gonna share this because we were talking during the break, so I just want to share. We will
Hmm.
do an episode on Will Smith at some point and his whole evolution. but we both agree that Jada sunned him so bad that he had to sun Chris Rock. Like that sums up the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yep, yeah.
But what a great segue into movies since we're talking about a movie star.
Hmm.
You like that? You like
Hmm.
that? Um, man, I'm excited this summer for, and I probably mentioned before, but the Fantastic Four first steps.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward because they keep talking about this Marvel reboot for the Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. Right? I think the reboot happens with the Fantastic Four. That's what I believe. You know. Um,
That'll be part of it.
I think so, 100%, 100%. Um, any thoughts on the Fantastic Four? And then there's some other movies that I want to move on and talk about too.
Well, there's I I I've been curious to see what it was going to look like, but
Hmm.
as they've been rolling out more like the full trailer,
Hmm.
I mean, I like it. I mean, the fact that they've
Yeah,
got the thing right, they got the
finally.
scale of, yeah, and they're doing Galactus, and they've got the scale of Galactus right. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
kind of indifferent about, the Silver Surfer part,
Oh, yeah, Shalabal.
about the gender
Yeah,
swap,
yeah, yeah.
of that, but I mean, I'm indifferent, but I think that it should be good. I mean, I think it'll be pretty
Hmm.
decent. And the fact that Sue is pregnant with Franklin, so
That when I read that, I was like, that is dope because Franklin is like level five. Is it level five mutant, right?
no, it's
Um,
Omega. It's Omega
Omega
level.
level.
Omega
Not level,
level
Omega
mutant.
level. Right, right. So, like, if you don't follow that and under like this whole storyline of what Franklin can do, that's how they're introducing or wrapping mutants into now the Marvel
Exactly.
Cinematic Universe. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, along
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the X-Men are going to show up in Doomsday and all that stuff. I get that too, but
And they're there technically like with Deadpool, as well. Like all of
right,
that
right.
stuff has been, kind of
They
like been breadcrumbs.
exactly,
They're breadcrumbing it
exactly.
in. But yeah, Franklin is one of the most powerful mutants into existence. He warps reality.
Reality, right? One of the cool things I think too, or not necessarily cool things, but I wonder if they're going to follow the storyline with Namor and Sue Richards, like their whole
Um,
love interest, or not even
yeah.
love, the whole affair. What
Well,
is that going to be a
that's the
spinoff
thing
or?
is everybody like was kind of low key with Sue, right? Like Silver Surfer was like kind of
it,
turned by Sue.
and
At one point,
and
like Sue liked T'Challa. Like it was a lot of stuff going happening, bro. Like in them comics, them
true,
'60s
true.
comics was wild, bro. Like
They were
for
living out
real.
fantasies for sure.
Pretty much, and the cultural norms were way different in the swinging '60s than they were now, or than they are now, rather. So
Facts, facts.
there's that.
I totally forgot about the Silver Surfer part of it, man. But
Hmm.
yeah, like I'm just because it'll be interesting how like if it's the current actor that they had in Black Panther 2, right? Who played it
To
Huerta, I think was his
notes,
last name.
yeah, yeah, to
Yeah,
notes. Uh-huh.
like if it's him and like I'm just like, okay, how's that work? Because there's
Well,
all the
they
storyline
said
they
that he's
didn't
gonna
follow.
show up.
He
Yeah,
will.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. They said he's gonna show up again.
because they also didn't follow they didn't take it deeply. The whole storyline with him and Shuri. You know what I mean? That is a lot deeper than people think too. But I mean,
It's really more so T'Challa and Namor than it is
they
Shuri and Namor. Like it's
right,
way
right, right.
more about
That's
them two. Like they hate each other.
it, with a passion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With a passion. yeah, we could talk about that for weeks and days. But
Yeah.
now speaking of Black Panther, man, uh, Mr. Coogler has done it again. Has done it again,
Hmm.
and also with the Michael B. Jordan. If y'all don't realize that they go back to Fruitvale Station, like
Hmm.
they've been working together for a long time. And last time I checked, just about everything they touch is gold. Is gold.
Hmm.
Everything they do. So the latest addition in their filmography together is Sinners. Um, as the time of this recording, one of us has witnessed it in the cinema, and one of us has not. So
Oh, I thought you saw it.
I
Okay.
know I haven't seen it yet,
Okay.
but
Okay.
feel free to give your thoughts on it
Okay.
because I've
Okay.
read so
Well,
much about it.
I'll do a non-spoilery, thing for those of us on the podcast and in listening land who have not seen it yet. Like no, because I did what I could not to like read a whole lot about it. Like
I got
there
you.
were general things I knew, but I kind
Right.
of wanted to be surprised,
I got. I purposely have
in it.
read as much as I could about it because I remember when they started the project. So even if you
Hmm.
have some spoiler alerts, I'm going to see it anyway.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I mean, I thought it was really, really very, very well done.
Hmm.
There's a lot of like symbolism that's in it.
Mm, mm. Okay.
I mean, from the very beginning, there's like symbolism in it. Very historically grounded, very historically accurate.
Nice.
Um, and just general paces of the story. Michael B. Jordan is playing
Hmm.
two twins, and I wondered. Now, this is something that
Hmm.
I wondered about.
Hmm.
If originally, if Chadwick
Hmm.
hadn't have died, if they would have done it where Chadwick and Michael B. would have been brothers,
Right.
and
Right.
Michael B's
Right.
character would not have had been the Smokestack twins would
Right.
not have been twins. They'd have been the
Twins.
Smokestack
I
brothers,
that's an
right?
interesting point. That they rewrite that? Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
makes
because
sense.
it wouldn't have required any difference. Like, I mean,
Mm-mm.
minor modification.
Right,
But
right.
there's all kinds of things that you when you go into it that you can watch
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
lot of symbolisms, serpents are prevalent. I mean, it's very much about spirituality, like at the same
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
Um uh, so I'll start with just some of the historical stuff. Takes place in Mississippi in
Hmm.
1932. So we're
Hmm.
talking about the time when people were black folks were a lot of them in the South were still doing like sharecropping and all that kind of stuff,
Right,
like to the
right.
point where they're using plantation credits as money. Some people, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Like in the
yes,
movie.
in the
Okay.
movie, actually in the
Okay.
movie, because they're running a juke joint or they're setting up a
Right.
juke joint.
Juke joint. Right.
And so
Right.
some of the people in there have to, they don't have money, they have plantation credit. And it shows people
Wow.
like picking cotton, like barefoot
Like,
and,
how they were doing that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it gets into that. Um,
Okay.
and there's little stuff like the two brothers are World War I veterans, actually.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because they make reference about how they've been all over the world and seen all these things, and they
Right.
have dog tags on, and it's historically accurate in the sense that the dog tags from World War I were round. Actually, it's like a
Wow.
medallion rather
Yeah.
than like the
The
smooth
the oval shape.
rectangle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So there's that. And then
Okay.
another historical point, and this is I noticed this from the very beginning, and I'm like, this is very historically accurate.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember, I don't remember who taught us about this, but the
Hmm.
World War I trench knives, where they have
Oh,
brass knuckles
yes.
on the front of
On
it,
the
and they
yeah.
got the
Yeah.
head cracking spike, and it's a
Yep.
big, huge, like 6-inch blade.
It's like
Well, they
yeah.
have those in there because they're World War I veterans. Because in one of the early scenes in the film,
Nice. Yeah.
one of the brothers kills a snake with it, actually.
Oh, snap. So they
Yeah, yeah.
actually bring that. Yeah, I
They
remember
bring that
the World
level
War
of
One. Yeah.
detail all the way
Wow.
like through with that. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, and
and
it
if
makes
you're gonna
sense.
be if you're going to be accurate with the time period, right? I
Hmm.
mean,
Hmm.
do it fully. Do it fully.
Right, right. And why wouldn't a World War I veteran bring their trench knife home? Like it just makes
It
sense, right? I
you
mean,
don't have to give it back. It's not like you got to turn it
right.
in. I mean,
No, I mean, even though they were outlawed in the Geneva Convention, like there's no
right.
more that were getting made.
But
So
you what
they
you're
didn't
supposed to
say
melt
turn
it
it in so
down,
we can exactly.
right?
They didn't say turn it in so we can melt it down. Okay,
Right.
so yeah, so that was cool. That and
That's
the
cool.
vampire thing.
Yeah.
um there's a cool scene in there where there
Mhm.
are some Native American vampire hunters that show up. They're
Oh,
in
I
for like one scene and then
uh-huh.
you don't see them again. And I'm like, ooh, that needs to be the sequel. Is about the Native American,
Vampire
I
hunters.
think they're
Cause
Blackfoot tribe,
in
and they're
tribe.
vampire hunters, and it's like a crew of them.
Now I'd heard rumor about it, but I didn't know if it was going to make the cutting room floor or not. Like
Oh no.
I'm glad it made it into the film. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that shows up. So that
Yeah.
comes through. Just talking about the role of spirituality and the
Mhm.
importance of like music. And if you know anything about blues music, like there's a legend that certain blues musicians um made a deal with the devil, with like the mojo hand and devil's hand, in order to be able to play the guitar like really well.
Mhm.
So this
Mhm.
kind of flips that a little bit. And
Mm.
the legend is that there are musicians, they're so good, and they come from all walks of all major cultures in the world have these people, and they're
Right.
able to break down the walls between the spirit world and our world. And
Wow.
good things come through, but also evil things come through
Come
as
through.
well,
Right.
right?
So you can't control what's coming through the door. It's just that
Exactly.
you can open the door.
Right, right.
Mm.
The door gets, or when the
Right.
door gets opened, like you
Right.
have to be aware that the
Uh,
negative things come through as
you
well at
mhm.
times.
Mhm.
So that was really cool. And then there's a scene in there where it's they're dancing in a juke joint or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I mean, I heard about this scene and I was like, just seeing it is phenomenal though.
Yeah.
They go and they show how, starting from the juke joints, they trace it back to like
Mhm.
Africa, and like the festivals that people did in Africa,
Would
and how people,
yeah.
would have a good time or worship
Mhm.
or whatever. And so it took it back there. So it was 1932, but then it
Wow.
also goes back to like, like West African traditions. But
Sure.
then it comes forward to today, and it shows people in the club, like
Do
where
it.
there was a piano, where Delroy
Yeah.
Lindo's character is playing a piano, there's a
That's where the DJ.
turntable.
That's where the DJ is. Right.
They
Right.
show the turntable. And where there's somebody playing a banjo, or
Yeah.
a more of an acoustic guitar, it shows a
Yeah.
guy playing an electric
Like
guitar,
that
right?
is so
And
dope.
it
That is
shows
so dope.
somebody, a woman dancing, and she's, Charleston or whatever. And
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
goes and it shows a woman twerking, like, and they're all simultaneously in this space doing it all at the same time. And there's like a dancer from like
Yeah.
China, actually, because there's a Chinese presence like in the
Mhm.
film as well, right?
Mhm.
So it shows that. And then
That is so
that's
dope,
when the
man.
doorway kind of gets open, when this particular
This
character
ritual, this
is,
did oh, it's
right,
playing.
is
Okay.
playing.
Okay.
Yes,
Right,
yes,
right,
when
right.
this character
Right.
is actually playing the guitar, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So like that was just awesome. And then it deals with issues of African American freedom, particularly in the South, but it can be translated, throughout today, right? It
I was gonna say,
still
yeah, it's
resonates.
yeah,
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 for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't want to go into it, but there's on so
Sure.
many, it works on so many levels.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it was really powerful. But I'm telling you though, that
That is
scene,
dope.
that club scene, that
Yeah,
was
that hit.
amazing. Like that was just cinematic wise, like the cinematography was good.
Right, right.
Like the intercutting of the different people coming in and out
It
from the
it's an
timeline.
art.
Like,
It is an art to do that, man. Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to. It's one thing to have that vision, but it's another thing to put it so that it makes sense, right? Because I
yeah,
mean, I've come across that in my own editing and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I know
But
that that's your background, but you will
oh,
appreciate that. You will really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Well, that's
Um,
why I love Ryan Coogler, man, because he's an all in, as in most directors, as in most that I follow. He's an all in director, 100%.
mhm, mhm,
And
mhm.
like hearing and reading some of the interviews that he's done about this was a passion project for him
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
was an original piece. He wasn't someone
yes,
didn't say, "Hey, this is what we want you to do," and someone else wrote the script and all that. Like this was his thing. He brought this to life, you know.
right,
Um,
right, right.
like he's an amazing director, and like him and Michael B. Jordan, like I've loved all the Creed movies they've done. Like I can let me just take a side note. I can see why uh Sylvester Stallone got upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
He-
about that all the time. How like
yeah,
Sylvester Stallone, he resurrects, the Rocky franchises, well, the franchise, and then Sylvester Stallone like takes it back pretty much.
right,
Like
and
I
it's
thought
like
that was so not cool for Sylvester Stallone to do that. I was like, dude, you
right.
need to just let him have it, like, and just
You can
get your money off of it,
right,
right?
exactly, because like you can go ahead and be part of it, but there's a different he's creating the storyline for Adonis the same way that you created the storyline for Rocky. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
So,
right. And even
let him take it. Yeah.
right, right, right. And even how they brought in young Drago and all that stuff, like they can totally run
Exactly.
with that. But
Exactly.
okay, so
Yeah.
there's that part. The other thing I liked about what he did was he
Mhm.
also brings in the traditional, like Southern traditions of like the root workers, right?
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
that's a very important aspect of it as well, because it's a
Gotcha.
root worker that figures out what is going on and what's happening before everybody else does. She figures it out.
Oh, I cannot
Actually,
wait to
yeah,
see
she
this.
ends up figuring it all out.
Okay.
So I thought that that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then another aspect of it is I like how he carries it all the way almost up to modern day. So there's like a
Oh,
deleted scene. Well, there's
right.
after credit scene
After credit. Right, right,
actually.
right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah. There's a
Okay.
regular end of the movie, but then there's an after credit
After credits.
scene. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, this could be a total sequel as well. Like this could totally be a sequel.
I
Um,
love it. I love it.
so yeah, I mean, I thought he
That's dope.
did a really amazing job, and it's some of the same people that he had involved with Black Panther. So
Yep.
like
Yep.
Hannah Beachler does like the design, Ruth Carter does the costumes. And it is a tale about morality because it talks about
Mhm.
there are sinners, like people who are really sinning all through this movie. Like,
Nice. It
I
like you said,
mean,
it's on every level, you know? It's
yep,
dude, can I
yep.
also just say again, I haven't seen the movie yet, but can I say this?
Hmm.
I love directors, and yes, I'm taking a shot at a certain director. I love directors who don't show up in their movies.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, Cooler does not need to show up. Yeah, he does not need to
Mm-mm,
show up. Right.
mm-mm. I
Right.
kind of,
For the movie to be good. Or unnecessarily, I'm gonna insert myself.
I'm just saying. I think you could have cast a different character for Shorty in Malcolm X, but I'm gonna leave that for another show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, but
That's
this is like you should really go see it. And I'm
oh,
glad that we did go
100%.
out and see it in the theater. I think that
Yeah,
that's the other part that's
Imma see it in the
important.
theater, and it's one of those that I wanna support Ryan Coogler's work. I wanna support Michael B. Jordan's work, you know what I'm saying? Like, they
Well,
are
all of them. I
well,
mean,
yeah, even everybody involved with the film, 100%, 100%.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing that I like is it's not like it is a horror movie, but it's
Right,
not like a jump scare sort of horror movie.
right,
Like the
right.
danger. um and the horror is very grounded and present. Like it doesn't need to jump scare you, but because what is
because you
happening to them is terrifying. I mean, just straight up
because you
knowing
start
that it's
thinking about it.
happening is
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
is terrifying in and of itself. And it does
yeah.
more or less conform to some of the same like rules of vampirism in terms of
Right,
what they can and can't do and
right,
how
right.
you can hurt them and how you can't hurt them. So
Mm.
so he merged like the historical, like the like
Historical
violence,
times of yeah,
historical time,
yeah.
historical fiction that's rooted in
Hmm.
actual events.
Hmm.
The thriller, the horror movie. I mean, he merged like all of this. Like this should actually win like some awards. Like
It
they need to
it
put this
better.
thing up for some awards, like for
Yeah,
real.
yeah. It better. If it doesn't, we know how the system is fixed anyway. You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. And I mean, for the most part, like they're all, I mean, the main characters are pretty much
mhm.
all actors of color. Like
Right,
they're either
right,
black or they're Asian, like for the
right. You
most
sort of,
part.
or even the scene with the Native American vampire hunters. Like
Yep.
that's
Yep.
it. Did I
They
not
they
start
need to
this
make
show?
that movie. That would be I can't, man, I would love to
Nice.
see that. Like that would be awesome. Like awesome,
Did I
awesome,
not say
awesome.
representation matters? Right? Like
It
does
does.
that? But that rings true, even with what we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and even if Coogler
Yeah.
doesn't make it, and there's a Native American director that makes it, like that would be
Yep.
awesome. Other thing I will give a shout out to, and this
Yeah.
made me
Yeah.
think about it. I was thinking
Please
about
do.
like how a lot of times, in supernatural stories or movies, the character there's
Mhm.
not like it's not based in people of color really at all, particularly black folks at
Right.
all.
Right.
So this is
Right.
one of the few instances of that. Another one that I will give you is Bitter Root, the comic book series.
Oh,
Um
okay.
Chuck Brown is one of the writers, and Sanford Green is like the
Okay.
artist, and there's another brother that's a writer that I'm just forgetting. I'm sorry. Um David Walker. But anyway, it deals with it's supernatural stuff around the time of the Harlem Renaissance. So
Mm.
yeah,
I have
yeah,
to
and
check that
it's
out. I would
and
say I
it's a
haven't gotten to that series. Yeah.
yeah, that's the Eisner Award winning comic book. So it's an award winning,
Bet.
comic book. And the Eisner Awards are like the Oscars of comic
For I was
books.
gonna say the Eisner Awards are like top notch. That's yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's the Oscars of comic books. Yeah, and
That's
they've won
dope
it. So I was thinking about that too. So I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, that I think that the surface is just getting scratched, with
for
that. And
sure.
we'll see more with like Children of Blood and Bone and things like that are coming out.
Right,
Um,
right.
yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Oh
I
snap!
know. Yeah. Dude, yeah, but you have, I mean, I know you're gonna go
Oh,
see it, but I'm curious to have a conversation with you to see
after I
what
see
you
it,
pick up on as
sure.
like a film person. Because I know
Okay.
you're gonna see things that like I didn't like
To a
even think
different
about,
lens,
and the
right?
symbolism and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, dude, I'm still going back now to the first Black Panther. Well, we were talking about
Hmm.
that too, right? And picking out symbolism that totally passed me, and I've seen that how many
Yeah,
times? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
Ryan
I'll be
Ryan
curious
Coogler
to see, similar to the way that he did with Black Panther, where he did the notes on the scene series.
Mhm.
Did you? I know we talked about that.
I
Did you
didn't get a
go and,
chance to
and have
watch
a
it yet. Yeah,
okay? Yeah, check
yeah.
check that out because I'll
Okay.
be curious to see if he does another one for Sinners. Because
For Sinners.
if he does do that, like
Mhm.
just to hear and what notes on the scene is it's basically a director breaking down a particular scene in their
Right,
film,
right.
explaining what is going on that's kind of like outside the frame, if you will.
It gives you their vision of the entire um experience, you know,
Yeah,
what they're
yeah.
trying to bring to like you said, outside of the frame. So obviously when you shoot, what's in the frame is what they want the viewer to see. But if you pay attention, it's almost like using your peripheral vision, right? To see
Hmm.
something outside of what's in front of you. When you pick up on those things, there's so many things that get hidden or Easter eggs, if you will, right? In
Hmm.
films, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
they just don't have the time to fully flesh out. I mean,
right,
so and that's part of what it is too. It's notes on the scene. So these are like all the notes, and I'm scribbling around the margin of this scene of the
right. Of
the
the
storyboard, if you
yeah,
will, about
yep,
what is being communicated in this scene. So
yep. That's dope. Oh yeah,
yeah.
you got me hyped. I can't wait to see it for
You
sure.
should, yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Take the wife and go see it. Like
Indeed.
it's
She'd
it was
already talked
good.
about it. She was like, "Yeah, do you want to support Ryan Coogler?" I said, "Yes." Do you want to see
Yeah,
Sinners? Yes.
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. We
but it's
went and
good
we
to
saw
know.
it.
It's good to know that I'll tell her like it's not a jump scare because
It's not.
she was thinking that and I'm like, but I doubt that. Like that's not. He doesn't strike me as that kind of horror. Uh, th- uh, yeah, I believe that. I believe that. So good, good to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So if you're a jump scare person, well, if you
yeah.
don't like the jump scare, you don't have anything to be worried about because I'm not the biggest jump scary person either. I mean, my thing is just like the fact that this is happening. Like I rationalize, and I'm like, this is terror, so I don't need the
Yeah.
jump scare to like be freaked out by stuff
Because
all the
you're gonna
time.
walk out and be like, start looking around, like, oh damn, what the
Well, it was funny because we went and we got ice cream, me and
right,
my wife, and we went to go see it with her cousin, and his wife. And so
right.
we went and got ice cream, and they handed us a spoon to do a taste test. And my wife like kind of jumped. She's just like, "Oh, God, I thought that spoon just came out of nowhere. I thought it was one of the vampires, from the movie, sort of thing." So
You're
that was
already
pretty
thinking it.
funny.
Already thinking it. Yeah, nice, nice. Well, man, before we wrap up, man, I got to give a shout out to um, a sports team. Like y'all saw us in the open of the show. We
Hmm.
are both Cavaliers fans. So at the
Hmm.
time of our recording, they are up 3-0 on the first round of the NBA playoffs against the Miami Heat. By the time this releases, hopefully it'll be a sweep. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully
I
it'll be a
think it's
sweep.
gonna be a sweep, man. Like honestly, I don't know what the NBA is gonna do about, these play-ins and all this stuff, because there's a lot of teams that's gonna go out, 4-1 or be swept like
Well,
this year.
the other night, Memphis just got swept.
Yeah,
So
yeah, OKC, yeah,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
but
got
here's the thing:
swept.
I like the play-in tournament. I like how that adds some drama to the rest of the playoffs. What I wish they would go back to, if they really want to create drama, have the play-in tournament, but go back to best of five for the
I
first round
agree.
series.
I agree. I
Go
agree.
back to the best of five,
I
right?
agree. I totally agree with that. And I remember when we were coming up, when we first started like watching the NBA like that, that's what it was. Some of those series were, some first round series were best of three, like
It-
for
man,
real. And
right?
then they went to five, and I'm like, that's about right. But there's no reason why
Yeah,
these are opening round series
it
other
need to be
than you do
seven. Oh, well,
seven games. Like, yeah,
is
I know
money.
it's money. It's the TV package, right? It's the
And
TV
then
deal,
and the arena makes more money. They
and
get
the
to
arena
upcharge
makes
on the
more money.
tickets and the
Yes.
concessions. But right,
And
it don't
bruh,
need to be
well,
seven
it ain't
games.
really the concessions that they make money on. It is them tickets. And I can say
I,
that as someone who has been like a season ticket holder for the Hawks for years,
yeah,
bro. Them
yeah.
playing tickets, oh my
They,
God, are
you like how did that
ridiculously
go
expensive.
150%? Like what how did you do that? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
like for what we paid for the Eastern Conference Finals,
Right.
that for one ticket, it was double what we paid for Eastern Conference Finals for the play-in, bruh. Like
Wow.
it's
Wow.
yes,
But
yes,
and see, so right, you would think the Eastern Conference Finals would be more, but the play-in was more.
right,
That's crazy. That's
right.
crazy.
Right, and granted,
Yeah.
like when we went to these kind of finals as the Hawks, like this was before the play-in, but
Right. 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 Right.
still,
Right.
I
But
mean,
even so, I mean,
jeez,
that was not that long ago. You talking
it wasn't
7, 8
that
years
long
ago?
ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, not even
Or
that
not
long. I'm
even.
talking about
No,
like
like maybe like 5.
five at the
Yeah.
most. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
nuts, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah. But
crazy.
go Cavs, and then you saw what happened. You saw what our Steelers did, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I
You you
kept
you
telling people that
you
they
you
were gonna
talking?
draft Howard.
I was gonna
I,
say you're
I
talking about the 6th round pick, right? Yeah.
Yep, I kept telling them they're gonna draft Howard. If Howard is
If
around,
he's
they're gonna
available.
draft Howard.
Now, I kind of wanted. I kind of wanted them to draft
I know what
Shador.
you about. I knew
I
you was
did.
gonna say it. Me too. I did too. I
I
did
did,
too.
right? But I get why they didn't, because they had to address some other needs, right? Like we had to address the D line. We had to address still linebacker situation. I, now I'm not happy about them still chasing Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron
I'm
Rodgers.
not.
I know.
I'm
That's
not happy
so
about that
trash.
at all. Like,
I don't know any Steelers fan who really is. It's like,
why?
why?
I will gladly go into the season rocking with Mason Rudolph. Like, I will
Yeah,
gladly do that.
yeah. I would rather
Hundred
have him
percent.
than Aaron Rodgers because honestly, I think
Yeah.
if they get Aaron Rodgers, Mike T is out. Like he's out. Like we're gonna have a losing season. It's gonna be just a crap show.
Yeah, no, no, no. You can.
Seriously.
I'll say it. It's gonna be a shit show. 100%.
Yeah,
Like, why? Yeah, we're not doing PG on our sports teams. but
yeah, yeah.
but I know they chasing him, right? And okay, he might have had better stats last year than any quarterback you had on your roster.
But
But
still.
what are we doing? What, like, you let the quarterback of the future get away? Like, you could have had him
Hmm.
for 10 years.
Yep,
Cool.
they could have had Fields.
Yeah. So you signed a dude, you re-signed a dude who left for a year, was no good. He was good when he filled in, and
Hmm.
let's just go ahead and call it a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like what are we?
yeah.
Why are we chasing perceived greatness? Because if you really want to look at it, he only got one Super Bowl ring, and
Right.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, he only
Yep.
has that ring
Yep.
because Mendenhall fumbled the ball in that game.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
not, we
Hmm.
get 7 rings,
I,
bro.
I,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah, I think that Aaron Rodgers is the most overrated, like qu- quote unquote Hall of Fame quarterback ever. I mean, I know he has numbers, but if you look at like he should have as for many as MVPs as he's had, he should
At
have
least
Super
3 rings.
Bowl. He should
And,
have more Super Bowl rings than he does for
and
real.
as much
For the way
talent.
they treat him, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. Especially his boy on first take, but we ain't gonna mention no names. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. I'm like, I mean, Brady, for what Brady did, Brady should be treated like that. But y'all try to mention him and Tom Brady in the
In
same
the same
sentence,
sentence, you can't
and
do that. Mm-mm,
it's not there. It's
not
not
even close.
there.
Nope.
Like he
And
ain't even
and
sniffing Terry Bradshaw's jock yet.
it,
So
it,
come on,
it, and
man.
and he ain't even close to Big Ben. Like, Big Ben
Mm-mm.
got 2 rings. Now you can
Hmm.
call it with, if you always want to talk about the chip, right? But then you don't get to qualify how they got the chip.
Right,
So yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah. Dude,
right.
mark this down. We're gonna have to do another episode just on championships and how
Yeah,
the difference of how players are viewed. Because if you talk about the chip, right? Let's talk about the NBA real quick, and then we gonna bounce. So if you want to talk about the chip, then there's no question who the GOAT is. That's Bill Russell, right?
right,
But if
right.
you want to go down GOAT status based on the chip, um, that puts Robert Ory
I was
and
about to say
Steve
that.
Kerr.
Bruh, John Sally.
You see what I'm
People
saying?
forget
Like,
about John Sally. If you talk about actual wins, like
right.
John Sally, Robert Ory are like some of the winningest players, like just the
So
one as a player. Now, some of Kerr's stuff comes, as a
as a
coach
coach, right, right.
too, you know.
So if you want that to be the criteria, then there's no question, right?
Hmm.
So I'm just
Hmm.
saying, I'm gonna leave that there. Another conversation for another day. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
but then too, we got Captain Jack too. So I'm like,
Facts,
that was the Steelers defense should be fire next year, like
facts.
even more fire.
We was raiding Ohio State. I love it. Like, we got a pipeline from Ohio State, by the way. So I'll take it.
Right, right. And then you look at it, so you already got what's his name there? Cam
Oh,
Hayward,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
who's the captain of the Steelers, who's an Ohio
Hmm.
State great, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, Captain Jack, the
We
freaking
needed him for the
uh
linebacker. Yeah, the linebacker. He's
exactly,
out. He's gonna be
exactly.
outside because let's be real. T.J. Watt ain't getting no younger. You know what I'm saying?
Right, Well,
and
they
now
can't really waste TJ Watt's prime years. Like,
right anymore. But now you got Herbig, who's a great outside rusher, and now you got
yeah,
Captain Jack. Like you're setting yourself up for the future, which is why they had to pass on Shador. I get it, but you had to address more pieces. You know?
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Like,
Yeah,
I thought that was really, I was really happy that they got Howard and they got Captain Jack. So I was like,
absolutely. I saw the Howard pick, and I was like, all right, bet we're set.
mm-hmm.
Well, y'all, it has been another episode with Luis and Leon. Y'all can check us out right there at the bottom, Spotify. Go to Live All Good Podcast. Check out the Luis and Leon show episodes, right? If you like YouTube better, we're on YouTube. It's under the Spotlight series, but you'll still see the Luis and Leon show episodes there. All right. Until till next time, Luis and Leon out.
Deuces.